tips on how to make your presentations better. First thing is to overcome fear. You all may not have known this, but there are more people who are more afraid to make a speech in front of a group than of death. So you've got to conquer that fear so you can get up there and work well with an audience. Here are some tips. Tip number 1. They have no idea you're afraid. Zero. None. People will say, oh, but I turn red and I shake. People don't know. Unless they know you really well, and even then, they have no idea you're afraid. Next tip, they have no idea what you're going to say. So if you forget something and you think, oh, I want to tell that story about so-and-so, I forgot. They didn't know you were going to tell the story. Whatever you get up there and say, they think that's exactly what you planned. And the third thing about fear, realize they want you to succeed. Nobody comes to that presentation hoping it'll be terrible. They want you to do well, so they're definitely in your corner. Another thing that'll help, it'll help you be successful and it'll help take away that fear, is preparation. If you run through your material several times until you feel comfortable with it, you'll find that you're much less afraid. This also helps with timing. A mistake that a lot of speakers make is they're given 20 minutes to speak at a Rotary luncheon, and the whole meeting's planned around their 20 minutes. And they get up and they talk too fast, they look at their watch and they're done, and it's been 3 minutes. So you definitely want to rehearse for time so that you know how long your comments are going to take and you're very comfortable with them. The next tip is think about what you're going to wear. You want to be comfortable. You don't want to go up there, ladies, in really tall heels and worry about falling. Gentlemen, you want to have plenty of room to move your arms, and you want to dress so that you feel good. What I recommend is to dress one level up from your audience. If your audience is in business casual, I would dress in business attire. Now, I'm not saying you need to wear formal wear. If everybody's in business attire is fine. But just dress so that you look sharp. It adds to your credibility and your confidence as a speaker. Next thing to realize is how important body language is. When you're addressing a group, this is really interesting. This is how the meaning breaks down. Only about 38% of the meaning comes from your tone. 14% of the meaning comes from your words. And 55% of the meaning comes from your body language. That's your eye contact with the audience, your facial expressions. That's why we don't like speakers that read. I mean, think about it. If a CEO gets up to address a company and says, I just want to let you all know that I'm very excited about the great year we had. It's been very tremendous. You're not feeling like he's excited and you're not engaged. But if he walks up and says, I just want to let you know how excited I am about the year we're having. He's making eye contact with his people. He's smiling. He seems connected and engaged. So that's what speakers need to understand, the vital importance of body language. The next thing is humor. If you can in any way bring humor into your presentations, people will love you. They tell us as professional speakers, if you want to make money, you got to be funny. Now, you don't have to stand up there and tell a joke, per se. Don't think that. You can put up a cartoon on PowerPoint. You can bring humor in a lot of ways. And, of course, in some presentations, it's not appropriate. Here's the key to humor. If you want to open, for example, with a joke, as long as the joke is related to your comments, you're safe. So let's say you open with a joke, nobody laughs, but it's related to your comments, it becomes an example. And you're safe. But if it's not related, it just hangs out there and it won't work. But humor, if you can integrate it and use it, really makes your presentations kick. The next thing I feel compelled to talk about is PowerPoint. You've all probably suffered through death by PowerPoint. Now, I don't want to be mean and diss PowerPoint, but I want you to carefully think about how you use it. PowerPoint is great if you're trying to make complex information simpler. But I think you also have to think about what you're putting on those slides. I attended a presentation not too long ago. Gentleman stood up. He put up a PowerPoint slide. It was an Excel spreadsheet. He puts it up. He says, I know y'all can't read that. If we can't read it, you shouldn't put it up. So you've got to make sure the audience can read your PowerPoint slides. So if you're going to put a lot of information on there, think twice. Is PowerPoint the best way to do this? So they can be good, Another reason they can be bad is if they ruin your eye contact. If all you do is look at PowerPoint and not at the audience, it takes away a lot of connection. Plus, they could be missing your point. They could all be sitting there going, and because you're looking at PowerPoint, you miss the fact that they don't understand. So keep in mind, if you're going to use it, it's fine. Another death by PowerPoint technique, and this is an insult, I think, to any audience, is to have your audience come in, you give them an exact copy of your PowerPoint, you put the PowerPoint up, and then you read them the PowerPoint. They don't need that. Just give them the copy and don't waste anybody's time. So think carefully about how you're going to use PowerPoint and technology. The next thing I want to briefly mention are questions, Q&A. A couple of thoughts I have on this. One is you don't have to ask for questions. If you don't want people to interact, if you just want to do your presentation and get out of there, you can do that. You don't have to open the floor to questions. If you're going to do it, what you want to do is make sure one or two people don't dominate. If someone does ask a question, repeat it so the entire group can hear it. And if you don't know the answer, say that. Say quite simply, I don't know. Let me give you a little trick for that. Make sure you give everyone there your email so they can contact you for more information. If someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, what you can say is, tell you what, I'll be glad to research that and get back with you if you'll email it to me. Most people will never email it to you. So here's the tricks. Conquer your fear. Preparation helps. Dress appropriately. Use that body language and that eye contact to engage your audience. Have humor. Have a good time if you possibly can. Be careful with PowerPoint. And remember that questions are at your discretion. Thanks.